I got to step into my power so that I can empower more women who were struggling just like I was.
So earlier in my career, I wish somebody would have told me that not everybody wants to see me win. Not everybody was going to be by my side. I had to learn to be my biggest cheerleader, to be the person to go out there and step out of my comfort zone and do new things, try new things, because not everybody is going to be supportive.
Guess what? You're not in it alone, because there's tons of women out there that are struggling just like you, who want to be there to support you.
Hey everyone, welcome back to You Are Meant for More. I am your host, Francine Ayala, and I am your Empower Her coach and speaker. I have another fabulous guest. I'm actually bringing back a past guest who was on this show with me, Frankie Martinez, life code business coach, specialist, and hypnotherapist, and we are going to dive into all things relationship. So if you're looking to attract your ideal partner, you're looking to strengthen relationships with your current partner, we're here for it. We're going to talk all about it, get to know who you are, what you do, and how you are maneuvering through life so that we can then take you to living out your best life with your partner. So without further ado, let me go ahead and bring him in. So here we go, everybody. Frankie Martinez. Yay!
Hello, everybody. How are we doing?
The crowd goes wild. Well, thanks again. I appreciate you for joining. I know that you and we did a previous topic about your subconscious badass, but I wanted to bring you back because at the end of that conversation, we were starting to talk about relationships. And I thought it was like, you know what? We got to do this again, right?
So many different layers, right?
So many different layers, so many things. And it's like, I always talk to my coach about this. We're an onion, right? We're constantly peeling back those layers. And I just want to make sure that we're here diving into the conversations that matter most. So if you're new to this page, welcome. And we're going to be talking a little bit about how to attract your ideal partner, and really kind of throwing myself out there, right, Frankie? We can't talk about other people's relationships. So we ultimately...
If you're ready, girl, we're going to go that route.
Yeah, we're going to go that route. And yes, ladies, you are welcome. I am taking, what's the phrase? I'm taking one for the team. So I got you. We're going to talk mostly about the male-female partnership. And so, let's go ahead and just dive into this. But first, Frankie, I think everybody really needs to know who they are first, how they manage to be in the space, in the frequency, energy, in the communication style, in the space that they're in as a person right now, looking for a partner. Okay. So if you want to share a little bit, or if you don't mind sharing a little bit about how we come to be, I guess in our own space, like what our mindset is when we're looking to do something extraordinary in our life. We have to be in that proper mindset, right? Even if it's looking for a relationship, what does that look like? But who we are and how we become and how we're molded to who we are today. How does that come about? Go ahead and share with them.
Good Lord, that's a big one.
It is. I'm so sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Don't own it. It's a great topic. It's something that is not really quite discussed, right? How in the world do we become who we are?
Yes.
Right? How do we become that person that is a go-getter, that isn't a go-getter, that is the nice guy, that is a pushover?
Yes.
Whatever that looks like, right? How do you become who you become?
Yes. Absolutely.
How we do some things is how we do everything. So not only do we do that in our careers, but we also do it in our relationships, right? So we're going to pull back a little bit, right? Pull back a lot, right? Not past life stuff, but things about, like, for the moment that you're, let's say, question to you, when you're from 0 to 9 months, where are you in your stage of development? So that's the question for you. What do you think?
Oh, we are in our imprint years. So
we're in mom's stomach, right?
I'm sorry?
We're in mom's stomach, right?
Yes. Mom's stomach. So everything is, around 100%.
us. So being in mom's stomach, we have shelter, food, connection. all that stuff, right? And once we're out, same thing. The child, it just needs mom. From 9 months to about 8 years old, that's where mom really has a big job, and her job is to make sure to teach the child her or his knowns. Okay, and what that means is that if you have a mom that says, "Hey, this is a table," and teaches you it's a table, well, she taught you the right thing, and it's like a good known. But if you have a mom who's like, "Is it a table or an elephant?" You grow up second guessing everybody because your foundation wasn't solid. So it's cute to play around with kids, but if you could be honest with them and be as much as you can, right? And teach them that, this is a table, this is up, this is down. They'll have a little more stability when they grow up. Now, this is how we become who we become. Okay. As a hypnotherapist, we're constantly looking at two people as if they're more introverted or extroverted, because that determines how I'm going to induce hypnosis. But we also have somebody in the middle that is both, and that's explained in another way, but I'll get to that in a bit. So now, in a traditional family, in a non-traditional family, I can explain it very different. If it's like same sex, or if it's the father was missing or the mother was missing, I could still explain it. But we're going to do it traditional just to keep it, simple. Now, when we have that traditional family, let's say dad gets home and he's like, "Babe, where are you?" And he looks for your mom, and then, oh, can you still see me? I'm sorry, this is my phone.
Yes, yes.
Um, I'm trying to open this up. And so when if your dad gets home and he's looking for your mom and he finds her, let's say in the kitchen, he grabs her, "Babe, how you doing? Had a great day at work." And he goes to his room and showers and shaves or whatever he has to do and just relaxes, right? Gets out of the shower, comes home, sits down on the couch and relax, and then mom brings food to him. Well, mom just did something very important. She validated. Someone from Oxnard is trying to call me. She just validated that type of personality. That's an extrovert dad. He has tons of friends. He's very outgoing. He rejuvenates his batteries through friendships and connections. Okay.
Yeah.
So now you have an opposite dad. We call the introvert. He gets home, doesn't quite say anything to anybody, but he's not angry. He just does his thing, goes straight to his room. He changes, he showers, and comes back out and sits down. And mom brings food to him. Well, that is a very introvert dad. Introvert dads are a little more quieter, career oriented, and it's a little harder to show affection. Not impossible, but it's a little harder. Now, the main question everybody always asks me is which one is better? Not one is better than the other, because whatever dad is, mom's going to be the opposite. Now, here's here's the rub. Whatever dad is, now, have you ever had your mom tell you, "God, you're just like your dad"? It's because you pick up dad's personality. Because what happens is, as a child is growing, around 8 years old to 16 years old, they start to notice that, well, okay, my survival is because of mom. Right? She supports me. She doesn't shake me. She protects me from loud noises. So the child starts noticing, well, every single time this guy walks in the room, her attention to me goes to him. So whatever he's doing is better. So the child says, well, I got to do what he's doing. So he picks up dad's personality. Now, this is where daughters actually clash with their mothers. Because whatever the dad is, the mother's the opposite. So if let's say your dad is very introverted, very career-oriented, well, the daughter's going to be very career-oriented. And what happens is that the mother is constantly like, when are you going to get married? When are you going to give me grandchildren? When? Not knowing that that child is going to be completely different. And then vice versa. If the child is an extrovert, then the mother's going to be an introvert. It's like, oh, okay, you're going to college. Great. You're going to get a degree. Wonderful. Not ever asking about children. Again, not one's better than the other, but this kind of explains mothers and daughters dynamics. So now we have the personality of the child. What do you do with it, right? Now what you do is realize that whatever your dad was is what you are. Now, it could be, let's say if dad wasn't around, it could be a grandfather. It could be an uncle. It could even be a teacher. It's like that small little imprint, whatever mom paid attention to at that moment that you just noticed. And it just takes like a split of a second. So when it comes down to our personalities and how we date, it's all about that. right? It's all about how you perceived your parents. So if you find yourself more extroverted, know that you're going to you're going to attract a introvert man. Now, if you're more introverted, you're going to attract a more extrovert man. Now, most people, like I said, will ask me, what if I'm in the middle? Well, people in the middle, they they're my intuitive people. They have a tendency to be like, and especially for a woman, they can feel everything, like really deeply feel somebody's nervousness, somebody's awareness. And it has to do with a lot of like, if you had a father or mother that didn't give you options, there was like, no, 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 constantly. And as a kid, you don't have this conversation. What you have is feeling somebody's energy. So you're constantly feeling them in order to get what you need from them. So if they're happy, or let's just say worst case scenario, they're drinking, well, they're happy. I'm going to go get what I need right now. It's just like a second awareness. So you have introvert, extrovert, and in the middle. So now if you find yourself as an entrepreneur woman and you are constantly attracting these very outgoing men that just seem weird, try to remember that they're not going to be like you, and they shouldn't be like you. And because if they're like you guys are going to have great credit. Two introverts are going to be amazing, great credit. Two introverts are going to have like amazing things. But what they're not going to have is communication. Introverts have a tendency to overthink everything and assume what the other person is thinking. Because their comfort zone is in their brain. They're always here. That's why they're always cold. All the blood goes up to their head.
I'm sorry, I have to stop. Is anybody connecting with this? If you are joining live, comment. Let us know what you're thinking. If you're like blown away, because we went live the other day on Instagram, and I didn't let you know, Frankie, but we got a lot of comments back from some.
We did.
Yes. Oh, cool. I'm so sorry. We were just busy, you and I, running a mile a minute, with our businesses, that we've had feedback about it. And like so many women were just like, oh my goodness. And one of them was like, I need to be kinder to my husband when he fills up my gas tank. You know what I mean? And then the other one's like, oh, that's really good to know. This was very powerful. And so just know that, again, this is all great information. And, I forgot the last line you left off with, but so many things have been coming to my head because I understand the concept of the mom and the dad role model, because my dad was, I think we talked about who's outgoing. So my dad's very outgoing. I'm 90%. I always say, oh my goodness, I'm just like my dad. And so my mom, I see her personality. My mom's more the shy one, and I'm more outgoing. So I was just like my dad. So it's very interesting. So people, if you are seeing this, hearing this, understand the process in which you are receiving this information, and know that, if mom was absent or if dad was absent, there was something that was something or someone that was showing you how to do things, their belief systems, so you get to understand who you are as a person, why you respond the way you do, and how you're showing up in your life currently.
100%, 100%. What popped in my head right now when you said, I got to be nicer to my husband.
Yeah.
You do, but also, like I said, explain why it's so important for him to pump that gas for you. Don't assume he knows. He doesn't. We don't know. We really don't know. But like once you tell us like how important it is to you and why, next level.
And communication is so important because, I cannot like hit this harder on the head, because I'm a communications major, and it's like, if we all understood communication, because you said it perfectly, introverts get into their head, where I will tell people, do not, if there's any type of emotion that's coming out, do not text me. Don't try to have a conversation with me like to solve a problem. Do you know what I mean? Like text there's no tone in text messages. So like what's happening with the introvert mind is they're assuming you mean something when you're over here like cracking up and like making jokes in your head, but they're taking it another way. So understand that communication is so important in any relationship. And so, yeah, I know there's so much we're going to dive into. It's insane. Okay, Frankie, I just had to interrupt really quick because I want people to really comment on this and understand where they're at or even ask questions so we can answer them. So go ahead, continue.
Yeah, 100%. There's so much like nuances in there, like about introvert and extroverts. And one thing that you nailed was that introverts get cold easy, and extroverts get hot easy. Like they're very connected to their bodies. And I'm going to go a dip a little into this, which always perks everybody up. Extroverts can have sex every day. Introverts, you gotta, how can I put this?
Wow.
I'm going to say it in Spanish. Tienes que calentar tortilla antes que comerlo. You got to warm up the tortilla before you can eat it. So, and what I mean by that is that my introverts, they're very career oriented. So they're thinking about career. That's how they show love, is financial stability. They show love through that. Hey, the kids got dental. The kids have shoes, but they're always thinking about that. This is why it's good to have your significant other to be the opposite of you.
Yeah.
Introvert is, they put love and sex in the same place. Where an
extrovert does?
Yeah.
Okay.
An extrovert puts love and sex in the same place, meaning if we're having sex, we're in love.
Yeah.
Introverts sex is more of a release. It's like, oh, thank you. I needed that. This is the one time they're back in their bodies.
Yeah. That's pretty interesting.
I
never connected the two. Hey, you guys, come on. I had a doctor. My doctor told me recently, he's like, you should only do 2 things in your bedroom. Because my mom's like, oh, her office is in her bedroom. I'm like, wow, Mom, way to throw me under the bus with the doctor. And so he goes, yeah, only 2 things should happen in your bedroom. He goes, sleep and sex. And I was like, well, you're my new favorite doctor. All right.
It's 100% true because there's a moment where there's like 30 minutes before you're asleep and awake. Yeah. And it's self-hypnosis. So if you're watching TV before you go to bed, you're going to sleep and dream of that, whatever just happened on TV.
Right.
Something negative, something powerful, whatever it is. So I always tell people, like, if you can, like, do a little bit of meditation before going to bed.
Yes.
Right? Just so that your body starts to slow down and then go into bed.
Yes. So true. 100%. Even that's the sweet spot where you're manifesting.
Yes.
So when you're about to fall asleep or when you're about to wake up, that is the time you're manifesting. You're speaking all of your affirmations to yourself. You're talking all your goals out loud. You're saying everything, right? So, okay, we have so much to cover, you guys. So let's go ahead and continue into this. Now, are we going to continue into the communication part? Or do we still have more time? I mean, do you still have more to talk about the person as an individual and how they're stepping into their role?
One last thing, and then we go to the communication.
Absolutely.
This is going to lead into it. And that's, you have 3 layers of your personality, okay? And one is your defense, your core. Get my hand in there. There we go. Your defense, your core, and your suggestibility, okay? Your defense.
I need to write these down. Oh, wait, I'll watch it later. So your defense, your core.
And your suggestibility.
Okay. Defense, core, suggestibility. Got it.
Okay. Your defense is how you act when you're nervous. I use myself as an example. I get really chatty when I'm nervous. I get really excited. I really outgoing. I just talk a lot and I won't shut up. So that's my extrovertness. Okay. That's my protection. Okay. My core is actually a shy little boy. I am an introvert. I act like an extrovert a lot of times, but I'm really introverted. Growing up as a kid, being introverted was used against me. And so I learned around junior high how to turn it over. It usually happens around junior high.
Okay.
Usually, not always.
That sounds about right, because that's kind of when my son started to blossom.
Yeah.
I noticed. Yeah. He was really shy and I was like very outgoing and then all of a sudden he just switched. Yeah.
So we also have a percentage. If you were like super introverted, nobody could stand you because you just talk from thought to mouth. It's very direct. If you're 100% extroverted, you will talk and never get to the point.
Yeah.
You just have a tendency to talk a lot and never get to that point because you're thinking and talking at the same time. Or an introvert just thinks, then talks. The introvert will be like, give me that. The extrovert will be like, you know what? I really think I should have that. Matter of fact, I think that'd be good for me. if I got that, that would be something that I wanted, and it'd be good for me because I want it for my car and then for myself. Like it's a whole like, what do you want?
What do you want? Just get
You
to the
want-
point. Oh my goodness.
Good point. Yeah. So it's like if you're traveling in Dodger Stadium and you're talking about everything else, just
Yeah.
so what it is I coach my extroverts to be to the point
Yeah.
and then talk, because an extrovert needs to talk as they're thinking, because it feels very rude if somebody cuts them off. They always say, let me talk. And what it is like, can you just do me a favor? I'm a big picture kind of person. Can you just get to the point and then tell me the story later? As an introvert, once they get to the point, you're like, thank God. Now I get to glaze over.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So yes, I feel bad because like a friend of mine, he goes into story, like he goes into. I just want like as a business owner, I just need your main points. Give me the main points, and he develops a whole story around it, and I'm just like, nope, nope, nope. Bring back the main points. That's because that's what my brain needs to process. You know what I mean? So
But
really
just
understanding people at their core, right?
to say, I need your main points, but I do need you to talk afterwards.
Right. Okay. So then that's where I need to understand. Okay, give me your main points, and then you can talk afterwards.
Yeah.
But even if he goes like really long, still.
I mean, you're the boss. You can say, hey, I only got 5 more minutes. I
Yeah.
got this amount of time for you.
Yeah. I mean, it's true because like
100%.
he keep talking, and I'm just like, I
And
mean,
he's
I
all
know
excited
that.
because somebody's finally listening to him.
Yeah. I know. Oh my goodness. Okay. Got it.
Sometimes I would have a conversation with him in the sense of like, you bring it up is not the first time this happens to him.
No, I've actually brought it up several times, and it's really again, it's not being mean. It really is me
being
saying
supportive.
I can only process certain information, like just give me the the breakdown of the main points just so I can capture that and then understand how to move forward. But if you're giving me the whole book, the main points are now gone. I can't absorb the main points.
You just got to bring it back and be like,
Right.
hey, I need the main points.
Right.
But I do, speak a little bit after this. But I don't know. Just know I have 3 minutes left.
Yeah.
How
And
about
I'm very mindful of the time and stuff like that. So yeah. And I'm not rude about it. I just share how I process. So
those people, they're amazing extroverts.
yes.
Guess one thing they don't know. They don't know about personal space. So they have a tendency to touch you a lot.
Okay.
Guess why?
But I do that.
Yeah, but guess why?
Okay. Why?
Because they're feeling that the person they're talking to is not connected to them. So they're literally trying to pull them in the conversation.
Oh.
By the way, if you do that to an extrovert, either they're thinking you're flirting with them, or excuse me, if you do it to an introvert, they think you're flirting with them or you're messing with their personal space. Introverts' personal space is everything.
Are you guys taking notes? Because this is all like really interesting to me. Because again, I there's so many things, like little intricate things that I didn't even realize, you know. And so yeah, I didn't even.
So
you know, I'm sorry.
if I started talking to you like this, you would start touching.
I cannot stand that. That is like one of my things. I cannot hear, because when I talk to people, I literally look at their face, look them in their eyes, and I'm just in their face. And if they're like this, and I'm like,
Well, what happens a lot of times to introverts, they're just like you're just too intense for them. They're like, Oosh. But also, like I do it when I think, I go like this.
I do too.
Or I'll talk like this because I'm thinking and I'm seeing the image. So people that look up, they're looking for an image and they're answering from the image, and then they come back to you.
Yes.
So what seems rude is actually a thought process.
No. There's a difference. You know, the people that just like are kind of like
checked out,
busy, they're checked out. You know the difference. Like they're checked out or they're thinking. Like I know the difference between the two. You know, I mean,
if you're an introvert, guys, and you feel somebody touching you a lot, just touch them on the shoulder or like just give them like a light tap, or just, you don't have to touch them. You can just face them. Back when I was more like, I got to play with this. I used to put my foot forward and see how many times the extrovert would hit my foot. You know, they're like, why don't you move your foot? It's like, and usually when they hit it a lot, I was like, oh, this is a high extrovert.
I'm a touchy-feely person.
She says she doesn't know how to flirt.
Oh yes, that was a topic. Oh my goodness. Okay, yes. Okay. I used to say, if you're new to understanding that process, I used to tell people that I'm like, I don't know how to flirt. I really would turn into Beavis and Butthead.
How do you, what?
That's right. Because you know how they do the so when you said you get yeah, I'm goofy, it's all good. When you said I get you said you talk a lot when you get nervous.
Yeah.
I crack jokes. Hence the Beavis and Butthead.
It's your extrovert way of protecting yourself.
Yes. I've been told that, which is hilarious. So I'm just like, okay, that's how I get. But
Yeah.
no, I mean, you and I talked about this, how to flirt, and you said, okay, ladies, if you need to know how to flirt, you probably all know how, and I'm the only goofy one that doesn't. You basically said smile, right? Smile at them.
Smile at us. It doesn't take much. And if like you're in a business setting, sometimes like you're just being polite, right? So if you do it, at least do it twice. If he doesn't just come straight to you, right? Because it's very hard to gauge sometimes. But yeah, we don't. I mean, besides, if the guy can't take a hint, would you want that type of guy? You know?
No, well, no.
If he's really, really shy and doesn't know how to approach a woman and say, hello, that's a beautiful dress. Or, hey, you got an amazing smile. Like, he doesn't know how to just approach and be hello, right? Like, I used to, like, if there's a group of women at a table, I'd be like, hey, is this where the cool kids hang out? You know? And I just sat down.
Okay. So we're going to throw myself out there really quick. And we talked about, oh man, I lost it. But it was about that whole flirtatious thing. Because I've tried the whole, like, I tried to wink.
You
I look
wink?
really bad. Somebody walking by and I just tried to wink and I was like,
Yeah, forget my friend. She has Tourette. It's just her.
I'm telling you. Okay, okay, sorry. Now I'm going to throw myself out there.
Okay.
So Frankie and I had a conversation about this. I found it very interesting because he had, like you mentioned earlier, we tend to attract the opposite, right? So like extroverted people will attract more of the introvert. And I had told him about somebody that I started to talk to. And I was like, oh, I met this guy and this and that. And he asked me, did he ask you out or did you ask him out? And I was like, I kind of asked him out because I said, and that's the thing so I basically told the guy, oh, we should hang out sometime. And the thing is, like, oh God, what was the whole reference of that? But it was just like, you have to allow them to ask you out because I was like in my masculine, right?
Yeah. It comes back to Valentine's Day.
Okay.
And how about this? This is a whole other topic, but I'm going to relate it to it. Okay.
Okay.
As a man, it is so difficult to understand what is needed for Valentine's Day. We got to get the right tables, the right restaurant, the right flowers. We got to make sure that it's romantic. It's all Valentine's Day is for women. It's not for men. Okay. I mean, a little bit because we might get to have sex that day, but it's really, it's courting you, right?
Yeah.
So what I tell women is because they're like, somebody from Oxnard just really wants to talk to me.
Oh my goodness.
What it comes down to is the awareness of we don't know what we don't know.
Yes.
Like if you say, well, he should know my favorite flower. It's like, maybe we do. Maybe we don't.
Mm-hmm.
I tell guys, take notes. Because what do you mean? It's like school. I go, dude, you got to take notes. Like the moment you find out her favorite flower, write it down. The moment you find out the favorite color, write it down. Just take notes, right? There's things that kind of, so that, because for guys, it's a little cup. and it gets over full too much.
Yeah.
So what I tell women for when it comes to like Valentine's Day is you really, and I will say this one constantly, please set us up to win.
Mm.
And you don't have to tell him, hey, buy me these flowers, get me this restaurant, blah, blah, blah. You can start like a month ahead and be like, I love Valentine's Day. And he'll be like, why? Well, in the office, all the women get flowers, and then the whole office smells like roses. And you know how much I love roses. So you're just planting seeds throughout the whole thing. And the thing is like maybe 1 or 2 Valentine's days you have to do that, but for the rest of them, he'll like, oh yeah, she likes these type of roses. It's just you set us up to win, and you're setting us up to win your heart. And a lot of times, the miscommunication is just it's difficult for us. It's not impossible, it's not impossible, but it is a little like our cup gets full really quickly. So you just got to be understanding for that. If you feel comfortable with your man not knowing everything about you, you'll have a little bit of a happier life. But because usually he's worried about like, paying certain bills, making sure there's a roof over their head. We got other external things that we're trying to take care of, make sure that you survive and you live, right? That we're making that money so that keeping you alive.
Right. So yeah, that's one of the things I wrote down is what do they like? What's important to them? What are their values?
Mm-hmm.
So for men that are looking to attract that female, you do have to take notes. I take notes. If there's a man I'm attracted to, and we're having a conversation and we're talking and we're just going back and forth, and he tells me like his favorite cake or whatever is chocolate, I take notes.
Yeah.
I may not take every single note, but I do. I personally take notes because I want to be able to be that person, obviously that women, you have to put out what it is that you want to receive. So many women or so many men will think, oh, I want this in a man. I want this. I want that. I want that. Are you doing it? Are you giving it?
Yeah. It's I learned I had a friend we're in a group setting, right? Like it was a self-improvement course, and she was just yelling, saying, there's no love in this group. There's no love in this group. Like nobody's being loving, right? And I'm like, damn girl, who wants to be loving with you?
Yeah, that's too much.
Yeah. So
high energy.
when it comes, I learned my own experiences. If you want a best friend, you get to be a best friend.
Yes.
If you want love in your heart, you get to be loving.
Yes.
So you're saying exactly is that. Be what you want.
Absolutely. So I hate to cut you off, but we have so much to cover. So one of the questions that came in from our last conversation was, why are men obsessed with porn? And I thought this was such a great question because the thing is, like, this person continuously attracts those types of men. So now we got to talk about the energy that we're putting out.
It's not necessarily like attracting that type of man. It's just everywhere now. It's like, how am I gonna put this? The porn industry found a huge weakness with men, and that's we're very visual. Like very visual. Now, if you've been through a lot of pain with women, if you've there's so much, such a big topic that if you've been through a lot of bad relationships, the one thing that girl in the porn doesn't do is complain. And then if you have a certain type, you can squirrel and find a certain type you want. The only thing that's crazy, that's interesting is, this is our detriment to men, is that the more you watch that one person, you start ending up making a bond to that person on the porn.
Makes sense.
On a romantic bond. It's crazy. But your brain gets like, you're seeing this woman over and over again, and what is she doing? She's doing everything perfect for you. You're not having a conversation with her, but it's like a safety thing. I'm not going to get hurt. I'm not going to be, the one question that women say a lot is like, well, how do I get them off of it? Right. It really comes down to it's therapy. A lot of it's therapy. If the guy has been through this is a crazy topic. You guys ready?
It is.
Emotional incest syndrome. Right. it's I'm gonna go deep. This is a very like charging topic.
I
It's
know. And I apologize, everybody, but if you really want to get to the down deep
yeah,
roots of
definitely.
people in general, we got to know all the things. So go for it, Frankie.
So I'm gonna put this. Emotional incest syndrome is when a parent uses the child as their emotional support,
Mm.
and it happens a lot. So what happens is, let's say mom's a single mom. Not all single women do this. There's a lot of single moms that are very healthy and understand how to have barriers and stuff like that. Like, for instance, you have to ask yourself. This is, I said, it's charged, but you gotta YouTube it and look it up. Okay,
Mhm.
making sure you don't that the child you don't sleep. It's all varies, right? Depending on what's going on, if you have to share a bed, but not sleeping with the boy in the bed for too long, in the same bed as your child. Obviously, there's, when they're little, it's different, but it's very charged because you're teaching the little boy that sleeping next to a woman is not sexual.
Mm.
So as he grows up, if there's no other like a coach or an uncle to show the young man how to treat women, because we learn honor and duty from other men. What mom teaches us is how to have compassion, how to be understanding. But honor and duty is a whole other topic. So what ends up happening is, if there's no male for mom to vent to, then she starts using her son as a venting tool.
Oh.
So what ends up happening is the little boy, he's trying constantly to protect mom. He's constantly trying to take care of mom. He's constantly
Okay.
trying to, I'm going to put it, be the protector because it's lacking.
Mm.
Now, same-sex marriages, there's always somebody that, it's like the masculine feminine energies. It's a thing. So as long as they're the two adults
Mhm.
talk to each other and heal each other and give caring, the parent doesn't use like, oh, your dad, oh, your dad did this, oh. And then so as a son, you hear it and it's like, damn, I got to protect my mom from my dad.
Mhm.
And so you're constantly trying to do that at 8 years old. So when you when you become an adult, you're burned out. You're burned completely out. You're like, God, another woman complaining. I'm not saying that all women complain. I'm just saying that a male's brain kind of it's like you only have so much juice to give.
Mhm.
Developing years, you're supposed to develop how to treat a woman instead of trying to protect her. Does that make sense? That was dad's response.
Yes. And vice versa, because there's, men that I work with that had trauma,
Yeah,
sexual trauma.
that's a whole thing too.
Yes.
Yeah,
So really understanding people at their root um, is knowing how to move forward in a relationship with someone. And
yeah,
so ultimately it is understanding their characteristics, how they communicate, what their values are, what their standards are. But I want to dive into next, Frankie, is as women, business owners, CEOs, boss women, alpha females, that feminine energy. Let's talk about control in all that.
yes.
Okay, sorry, everyone. I can't look at Frankie because the screen is down here and my camera's there. So when I saw his face shift,
Oh,
ew, like he already knew. He already knew.
oh yeah.
And so this is such a great topic, and I love that I'm able to get him with these topics. But because
Yeah.
I'm dragging out all his expertise. So let's talk about that control part. Because I've even realized I had it, didn't even understand that in my business, I take control of a lot of things where I need to relinquish that, delegate it to assistants, to, business partner and whatnot. But ultimately, you and I had this live on Instagram recently, and it goes into the family, into the home, or into a relationship. So let's talk about that. Let's talk all things control. I saw your face. I already knew you wanted to touch on this.
Well, you said all things control. You know, like if you give me like a control in this area, right? But
All right.
how
Well,
about this?
whatever hits you
No, no,
better.
no. I got it. No worries, no worries. So control. I'm gonna put this. So the specifics that you're coming with is control as a boss lady, right? And so you're what I can only go off of like what I've heard, okay? And control. When I work with my clients, I always talk about like sometimes giving control is having control. If you're an introvert, like try to guess. Okay, how about this? What do you think the biggest fear of an extrovert is? Rejection or
Failure?
losing? No. So I give you two options. Is it
Okay.
rejection or losing control?
I think it's losing control.
No. For an extrovert,
Okay.
it is rejection.
Okay.
For an introvert, was the reason being is because extroverts put so much value into others. They constantly want to be out and about and connected to people. They'll invite people. So when people don't show up or people are not a part of it, they're just like, they didn't show up. They feel rejected from that.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And they put so much emphasis in sex and love that when they ask for sex, they get rejected. Like rejection is huge for an extrovert.
Or let's turn that around. When they put out so much love and they only are asked for sex, they feel rejected.
Exactly.
I'm just saying.
Okay. Now introverts. Now, if you have a boss lady that's an introvert, her biggest fear is losing control.
Okay.
Personal space is huge for an introvert, right? Physically and mentally. If you ask an introvert right when they meet them, like, tell me about your children, tell me about your life, tell me about your personal life. They're like, God, man, this person just wants to know everything. They get a little like personal space. That's an introvert, okay? So if you're a boss lady and you're always cold and you show love through financial stability, be okay that you don't like to lose control, right? It's perfectly fine. It's normal. Don't beat yourself up, okay? It's quite beautiful once you have a partner that understands that, because then they're like, okay, you don't want to lose control, fine. So control obviously is an illusion. You can't always have it. But my introverts, I always tell them, yeah, sometimes giving control is having control. Now, what happens a lot of times of what I hear from my clients, especially boss ladies, they'll say, like, when I get home, I don't want to make a decision. I don't want to make the decision. And I go, okay, well, let's say a scenario, right? The scenario is he asks you, what do you want to eat? A lot of women, when they're done making the decision, like, I don't care, you pick. And as a guy, we think literal, right? We're like, all right, she's letting me pick. Hell yeah, we're doing pizza. She's like, oh, pizza. For men, since we have that honor and duty, if you say whatever you pick, then we assume you're saying you respect my decision, so you're going to allow me to pick. Now I say allow, okay, because you have the choice to allow me or not. But and so when you say pizza again, I don't want to do pizza. You just said that it was okay for me to pick. So this is where all the arguments are coming in. So what I tell a lot of times for men is that when you're dealing with that, give her options. Give her 3 options, right? Pizza, tacos, sushi. 80% of the time it's sushi. But it's it's
I had sushi last night.
I don't know what it is about sushi, but all right. But all I'm saying is we get, decision fatigue too. So it's set your man up to win.
Yeah.
Right. And when it comes to this moment, I tell the guys one on his behalf, like, give her options. But also I tell women is like, whatever he picks, you got to go with it. Because then we feel that I can never trust you to have my back. Because you don't trust my decisions.
Okay.
So
I love that.
what to do with that, right?
Yes.
What to do with that information? It's just having more conversations. The one that I'm cracking up right now that you guys probably seen on Instagram, where the guy goes, "Look, this is how you get your wife to pick a restaurant," and then the guy goes, "Babe, guess where we're going? Korean barbecue." Yes. How did you know? It's a little manipulative, but like, as a
Yeah.
guy, to be honest with you, we could eat anything. Like sometimes we have a certain like, I want this, but majority of the time, like if you say sushi, cool, they got some steak there, right? Like it's not like a big deal, But then it comes down to a part of it where, um, if she doesn't feel safe with his judgment, she will also take it to the next level. If she doesn't feel safe with his masculinity, she will also cut it off. And it has to do a lot with, just feeling safe. So when somebody is asking me something over and over again, and I'm saying, "Give me a second, I need to finish this," then I go, "Okay, there's something here that is making it feel unsafe," and I'll straight out be like, "Hey, I'm noticing that you're asking me a lot, and I'm telling you that I'm going to do it at this time, but for some reason my communication is not landing for you." And then they'll be like, "Well, you're not doing this, you're not doing that." I go, "Okay, you're coming at me a little aggressive." I attribute that to more of a masculine energy, but for some reason I'm feeling that you don't think it's safe, or I'm not making it safe for you. Please tell me what I'm doing wrong. And a lot of women will be like, "The fuck?" Because they don't get that kind of communication often.
Right.
And then they'll just be like, I go, "If you don't have the answer, it's quite all right. But if you don't mind, I'm going to, at this time, at this moment, it will be done." So my honor is my word. Like as a healthy male, I do, but there's reasons why, but what I say is what I'm going to do. The thing is there's not a lot of men like that. And it could be scary to trust men.
Right. So I'm going to ruffle a little feathers here because I know that there's people out there that are probably thinking, it's not me, it's them.
Uh-huh.
As a coach myself, if you don't know already, I'm NLP certified as well.
Yeah.
And one of my biggest things that I share, because I'm very transparent, I'm very authentic. That's why my audience absolutely adores me and I adore them. You got to really get down to what is it about that person? What is it about the situation? What is it about their response to you that is about you?
Yeah.
So I want you to kind of, I want you to dive a little bit into that, because the thing is, I want to meet the right man. I want to meet, I want to get to know this person. I want to be able to attract that person, your ideal partner. So share about how they need to show up as the person that they want to attract. I know we touched up on it a little bit, but it's like really understanding, because, okay, so our last question that's going to tie in is, she wanted to know, where do you meet men? She's ready to meet, like meet men that are willing and ready. She's ready to date and have a relationship. And I said, don't worry, join us. We're going to be talking about this. And the reason why I'm bringing this is because you have to know where you're at and who you are in order to attract what you want.
100%.
So dive into that. Where would you send somebody that is looking to attract their ideal partner, depending on who they are?
At the club. I'm kidding.
I don't club it. And I don't think some older women don't.
There is no location. There's no there's no herd of men that are here at Home Depot. Go talk to him.
At Home Depot. My son would tell you differently because he swears I date men from Home Depot. There's nothing wrong with it. They're hardworking men, but I'm just laughing.
If you love Home Depot, there's a whole group of men that will fix your, everything.
I'm telling you, women, we're about to date those men because we need our roof done. We need our bathroom remodeled. I'm telling you.
my boys are loyal. Okay, they get things done. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay.
Okay,
Um, okay. So
go ahead.
to come back. All right. So you're asking is where to meet a healthy male, how to attract this person, how to be the person, right?
Correct.
I'm going to answer that question with a question. Okay.
Yes.
So, I got to put it in context. Give me a second. So, if a man's rude to a woman, do you think he's rude to all women?
Yes,
No.
I
He's
do.
just he's just rude to her. He- we react to women.
I'm just kidding.
So,
You react to the energy that is
or
around
you're
you.
just being funny. I thought you were being
Yeah,
serious.
I'm sorry. I'm being funny.
It's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
It's okay. No, I was need a little bit of humor in these type of
No.
topics. Uh, we have a tendency to react to women.
Mhm.
So if you want the right guy, you got to be the right girl.
Yes.
That's it. I've I've dated quite a bit, and whenever I get somebody of like, what was it? I was somebody said a joke, and I go, I don't know, I don't want to talk about that. And they go, oh, you're what'd she say? You're emotionally unavailable. I go, excuse me?
Wow.
I go, I just met you. It was like within an hour. And she was, no, no, I'm just kidding. I'm like, with every little kid, there's a little bit of truth,
There's a
right?
little bit of truth.
Yeah. And so then what did it do for me? I was like, well,
No, it
I'm being
turns you
accused.
off.
Yeah, it turns you off. But if I'm being accused for this, I would never want to be emotionally available to this person because it would
Mm,
feel like it would be used against me.
yeah. No, but even then, it's like you present yourself right away. Like how you respond, how you react to situations is who you are. You know what
You
I
want
mean?
to, how about this? You want to know the big secret for men?
Go ahead.
It's really easy. If you really want to get a good guy, is a guy, there's a two different distinct women for us,
Hmm.
right? You follow one or the other.
Okay.
Very black and white, very simple. There's a difference between I caught you and I have you.
Mm,
Huge, huge. If you really want to learn more about it, by the way, it's a great book. If I ever had a daughter, I would have her read it, and it's called "Not Your Mother's Rules." Okay,
not your mother's rules.
not your mother's rules.
Okay.
All right, and it is 100%. If a man thinks that you're amazing, that you're the one, he thinks I better put a ring on her before somebody else does.
Mm,
But if you are somebody that just always there and never like, I'm gonna put this, you're too available.
mm,
He will say, well, she's too available. She's always there for everybody, or she's probably there for everybody. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So when what I mean by this is the technique. This is to the understanding. If a
Yes.
man asks you, I'm telling you the secrets, lady, okay? If a man asks you out, tell him no. Right? Sounds counterintuitive. What you
Okay.
say, if he asks you out, hey, what are you doing Friday? Right? You say no. Say, I am busy on Friday. Unfortunately, I have to blah 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 blah. But I'm available on Sunday for brunch. Close a door and open a window.
Mm,
Tells us like, man, she has things going on in her life. Boy, she has a life.
it's my
So
schedule.
yeah, but like be strategically about it.
Right.
We want to chase you. It's like I hear a lot of women say, I don't want to play games. For men, we assume we're going to play games because it's an opportunity to win your heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let us play that game to win your heart. Now, don't be difficult. Don't be like, I'm busy. Maybe 3 weeks from now I'm available.
Yeah.
That doesn't make
Right.
sense.
Right. Remember your energy. Remember what it is
There
that
you
you're
go.
looking to attract.
100.
Yeah. And I think that's just so profound because once you, like, I tell people all the time, work on you all the time,
Yeah.
chase you, chase the
You.
best version of you every single day. And when you get rejected, or if you do, not when, sorry, if you do, or you don't get the call back or whatever, okay, so that's fine. But what was it that led to that? You know what I mean? What is it that maybe that had to do with inner you? You know what I mean? So it's just really chasing you and loving you, because the only way to love somebody truly is to love yourself deeply, you know, and have that confidence within you. So we're running out of time, but to answer that woman's last question, first of all, thank you so much for giving us that question about where to meet men. It's not an actual location. It is knowing, because we can say, hey, go to this singles meetup that's happening on Friday at 6 p.m. You know, there's tons of them, by the way. But guess what? There's all kinds of different men there that are not I don't want to say not, that may not be to your level of what you're looking for. So Frankie doesn't know this yet, but we will be actually working on something that is really going to tie in to having something for all men and women that focuses on the topic that we discussed.
Awesome.
So we're all about collaborating and bringing people to their higher self and allowing that space for them to connect. And we know what it takes to get them there. Yes. So I threw that out there to surprise him. He's like, sure, yeah. But you know what? Frankie's amazing. He's game. I already know him. It's been something on my heart for the longest time to do anyways. And so we'll have that conversation and keep you posted. So definitely follow us on social media or YouTube, whatever, subscribe. So I'm going to share really quick how to get a hold of Frankie. You can find him on Instagram at Frankie Martinez Life. Thank you, Frankie. I appreciate you. You are so amazing. I can't wait to do so many more things together because we have so much fun, right? We just like that. The topics we discuss are so on point and I love them. So thank you for being here. And if you want to continue to stay connected with me and what we're doing on You Were Meant for More, we're all about elevating you to your next level in life and business. So go ahead and schedule some time with me. You can reach me at francineayala.com/meant-for-more. Go out there, be fabulous, have a phenomenal day. Know that you're worth it. Know that you can do extraordinary things because that's what you were placed here to do. So thank you all for joining us today. Stay tuned for next week. See you soon. Bye.
I want to get to know what you do, what inspires you, what you enjoy.
My ability to lead really impacts women on a larger level because not every woman has the same story or the same journey. So understanding where they've come from and where they want to go helps me be the leader that I can so that I can show up in a space of authenticity for them.